Hi, I'm Riley and I am the Communications Director for Plan to Eat.
And I'm Roni. I am the Customer Experience Director for Plan to Eat, and I also am the lead content creator. And today we are talking about getting dinner ready faster.
I love it. We all need this.
Yeah, time is definitely a limited resource in pretty much everybody's life.
Yeah, if we can help you make it faster, we have done our jobs.
Yep. I like your coffee mug.
Oh, thanks. It was a Christmas gift from one of my closest friends. It has a little picture of us on it.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, it's cute.
I like it.
I like yours too.
Thanks. It's just a colorful paisley print. Paisley is like one of my favorite prints, so I
matches your
picked it
outfit.
up. Yeah, I'm wearing got a lot of purple going on.
Yeah, you do. I like it. Well, let's jump right in.
Okay, cool. So one of the biggest things that we think that helps get dinner ready faster is to just do bulk cooking. So particularly things like getting your proteins cooked ahead of time, getting things like rice or lentils or anything that could be time consuming in the moment to cook. Just get it ready beforehand, set aside a specific day to do some bulk cooking, some bulk meal prep to kind of set yourself up for the week or however long ahead of time.
Yeah, it's so helpful to have those parts of a meal pre-done, and then when you go to make it, it's already ready. You can do it with anything.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of things.
Yeah.
I do it chopping veggies, chopping fruit, washing and chopping fruit, washing and chopping veggies is a huge time saver.
Yep.
Boiling eggs, like you said, proteins or beans or things like that. It's really helpful.
Putting something in the crock pot just to get it so it's ready. You got shredded pork, shredded chicken, whatever.
Yeah.
Having it ready for tacos or enchiladas or any other food. Apparently I can only think about Mexican food to make. We got Mexican food on the brain.
Another really helpful thing to do is to look at your recipes before your week starts and just gauge what is going to take me a lot of time, and if you can move all of those more time consuming parts to the beginning of your week and do a bulk prep, that's super helpful. Another feature that's super helpful within our recipes is the prep notes. So take a look at your recipe. Maybe it's tacos. We're talking about Mexican food. It's tacos. You're making a shredded beef, and you know that is going to take you a lot of time, but you also maybe are going to have leftovers, and you can freeze some ahead of time. Whatever your thought process is with your recipes. You can make a prep note for one day ahead or a few days ahead and say, okay, I'm going to make this beef on Sunday when I'm bulk batch prepping everything for my week. Then it's made, it's ready to roll, and then when you have tacos on Tuesday or Wednesday, then you're ready to go. Your beef's made, you just have to warm it and then prep the other ingredients. But those prep notes can help you have an idea of what you need to make ahead of time.
Yeah, because it's the worst when you go to make a quick meal and you don't have like a main ingredient that's supposed to be pre-cooked to make the meal quick.
Yeah.
You know, like you're like, oh, I have to have these chicken breasts already shredded and cooked.
Right.
Like, oh man, that's going to take an extra 45 minutes and this recipe's only supposed to take 20.
Yeah, or one time I went to make a casserole that had pre-cooked rice in it, but I didn't check the recipe. I went to make it and my rice is sitting there dry in the bag. Oh man. So I did it with the dry rice, but then it took forever to cook because the rice wasn't pre-done. So things like that. It's just those little tweaks that can really save you a lot of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so another thing that we want to talk about with getting food ready faster is just to make a meal plan. We talk a lot about meal planning because we work for Plan to Eat, but we know that just simply taking a few minutes out of your week to just plan ahead for what you're going to be eating saves a lot of time, because then you're not thinking on the fly, trying to figure out what you're going to have for dinner that night 5 minutes before you want to be eating dinner.
Right.
And it just allows you to be able to think ahead and know what your week looks like so that you can plan around soccer practice or dinner at your parents' house or whatever the things you have going on in your week are.
If you're new to meal planning, one thing that we always tell people is just start with dinners. And it doesn't have to be 7 nights of dinners. It's just start with 3 dinners. 3 dinners this week. I know what we're having, and I'm going to buy ingredients to make those. Just plan for 3 dinners or whatever your timeline is.
Yeah.
But just get started with baby steps. And then once you've done that, then you can think about prepping lunches or making lunches and breakfast and things like that. But mostly just getting started and getting in there and starting to realize how much time you actually do save by meal planning will make you want to do it more.
Yeah, because if you have meal planned in the past and you haven't used a system like Plan to Eat, you probably have been like, oh, meal planning doesn't save me time because I'm looking through 5 cookbooks, I'm writing down all these ingredients, I'm trying to remember which recipe is what. It's so helpful to have everything all in one place. You have your recipes, you have your meal planning calendar and your shopping list all within the program. And so it's way more simple than like a traditional form of meal planning.
Yeah. And so the great thing about Planty is that it is digital. It's on your phone, it's on your computer. We have people who contact us and they tell us that they planned their entire week of meals in the car line waiting to pick up their kids at school. And then from there you can immediately, your grocery list is made, you can send it to the grocery store and pick it up or have it delivered. It's amazing. And it does save a lot of time. You can do it in those moments where you're doing something, but you really kind of have some time to kill. Yeah. So another feature that I find super helpful in helping me to get dinner ready fast is freezer meals. It does take some work on the front end, but one way that I try to make that go faster is, say I'm planning to make a casserole for dinner tonight. Well, I can change the serving size on my planner and I can say I'm going to make this for 10. I mean, let's go big, right? 10, 15. I'm going to make a huge batch. It doesn't take me any extra time to make the bigger batch. We eat what we're going to eat. I portion it out and I save it in maybe 4 or 2 serving containers and I freeze it. Then in 2 weeks or a month or 2 months later, I can pull that casserole out and we've got dinner. All I have to do is thaw it and reheat it and we're ready to go. Dinner's made. I did the work on the front end so that another night later, it's no time at all. Yeah. And we have a delicious dinner that my family's going to enjoy. I love that. I love the freezer, and I think that it's super helpful, and it's become more and more valuable to me as I've become a mom and just realizing how much less time I have every day. So it's super helpful. Yeah. Another thing that you can do along the same lines is leftovers. So take those same portions that you were going to freeze, package them up in individual serving sizes in whatever Tupperware, glass containers you're using. Put them in the fridge. The next day, lunch is ready. Yeah. For you or your spouse or whoever you're feeding, your lunch is ready. It's the same idea. And again, you put in the work on the front end, and then you've got it for the whole week or for another night next month.
Yeah, I think the genius part about the freezer feature is that if you're the type of person who doesn't really like leftovers that much, it kind of prevents you from eating the same meal over and over again. So like you can eat it 1 or 2 nights and then you can put the rest in the freezer and then it's there for a time when you don't want to have to cook very much, but you're not eating the same meal for 5 nights in a row because like some people can do that, but not everybody enjoys leftovers very much.
No, that's true.
Yeah. So if you are looking for some recipes that are specifically geared towards saving you time, we like the idea of like one-pot meals, crock-pot meals, sheet pan meals, anything like that where you have less dishes to do because dishes are also a part of the whole process here. And we actually have a challenge in Planty that was called One Pot October that we hosted a couple years ago, and all of the meals in there just require 1 pot. You put a whole bunch of ingredients together and it creates an awesome meal. They're really big time savers and dishes savers.
Yeah, and this is a super wonderful thing to just Google, like 1 pot dinners. If you don't find something that we have that you like, you can just Google 1 pot dinners. There's hundreds of them out there. Yeah. They're super helpful, super easy, and usually very delicious. So.
Yeah. We do have a few blogs where we have made like a list of different crockpot recipes, different sheet pan recipes. So we'll link those in the description if you are interested and maybe need some inspiration for some different recipes to add to your meal planner.
Yeah. I want to backtrack just a little bit, and I want to mention something else about meal planning and just how it saves you time. We know that there are barriers roadblocks with planning, and just pick meals that your family loves that are really fast, and maybe it's 1 pot lasagna or whatever it is. Like it's one pan, one prep thing, and it's easy, it's fast. Like add those to your meal plan. We have another feature called menus where you can create a meal plan, save it, replan it in the future, and it's just, well, one, decision fatigue is real. And if you're looking in your recipe book and you have either too much to choose from or not enough to choose from, but you just feel like you can't make those decisions, you can't find new recipes, you've got a menu that's pre-done with recipes you're going to like, your family's going to like, and maybe they're easy, because those are always my go-tos, is the easy ones. Just drag that menu onto your meal planner, and then your whole week is planned in maybe 10 seconds. So along the same lines of sheet pan meals and crock pot meals or 1 pot dishes that we've been talking about, is this idea of cook once and eat all week. I believe it's the title of a cookbook, but the concept is pretty simple. You batch prep everything, everything is made for you during the week. So you do all the work up front, and then you're saving time each day. Because maybe we all have a down day, or some of us have a down day every week or a down afternoon where you're not doing a whole lot. Maybe that's a day where you knock out 4 or 5 meals for your family to eat for the whole week. We love it. We'll link in the description to these cookbooks and the people who promote this idea of cooking. But if you've never heard of it and it's something that's a new concept for you, we think it's pretty helpful. I do it occasionally. It's not always feasible for me to like cook everything once for the whole week because it does take some time. But if you have the time to put in, you're saving time on the back end.
Yeah, and the cool part about this, I think it's a specific food blogger that maybe kind of coined this idea, or the term at least, one pot, or cook once, eat all week, sorry, is that like her idea is that you basically make some like basic ingredients and then you can create different recipes out of those basic ingredients. So you're not having this thing where you're eating the exact same leftovers every single day. Is like you're, you know, doing your batch cooking and then you're able to have some different interesting meals throughout your week. So, but using all the same basic ingredients.
Yeah, we've talked a little bit about leftovers, and my husband's not a leftovers fan. I'm fine with it because it's fast and it's okay to me, but he's not a huge fan. And so the idea of taking like a pulled pork, and then one night we have it as breakfast burritos for dinner, and one night we have it as tacos, and one day it's integrated into some kind of casserole or something along those lines. It's really helpful because it's the same thing, but you can change the flavors based on what you're serving it with, and it really does help. Like, you cooked it once, but you made it different for every meal.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's kind of like leftovers on steroids.
Yeah. Yeah. Another idea that we have found online that we really like is this idea of semi-homemade cooking. So it's this idea that you can take some pre-made ingredients and put them together to make like a semi-homemade meal at your home. So it's basically trying to get you used to the idea that like it's okay that not every single ingredient or item in a recipe is like super fresh, super homemade. Like maybe you used some box goods, maybe you used some canned goods, but it saved you from going through the drive-through or doing pickup, and instead you're actually having a meal that you made for your family.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of stress around it, right? You feel like you have to cook your family this extravagant dinner, or you feel like you have to cook them something, and then just it's okay to like take some things to help yourselves out. And we love the idea of just being together, and like we want you to eat at home, we want you to eat healthy, nourishing meals at home that you made, but we know that's not always it's not always going to work. Our schedules are crazy, our lives are busy. So just take a deep breath, and like it's okay to use some things that just help you.
Yeah. So in general, what we want to help you do is just try and think ahead, because thinking ahead for your recipes and for your meal planning and dinners and everything, like that's the main thing that's going to be time saving, is just doing some of these things ahead of time, like the chopping the veggies, bulk cooking ahead of time, having freezer meals. And we know that like we all have limited brain space for all of the things, but if you are able to take one day a week or one afternoon a week and kind of think ahead and plan ahead, like planning ahead is always the way to save time.
If there's one thing you take away here, it's just creating a plan.
Yeah. We've kind of gone over all of our different tips and hacks for getting dinner ready faster. If you have any extra ideas that you want us to know about or that you think would be helpful for other people, please leave them in a comment below the video.
Yeah, have a great day.
Thanks for watching.
Meals, crock pot meals, sheep.
You need to start that over because I'm making a stupid face.
Oh.
I didn't know you were.
Sorry.